Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS and the inventor of the CTKS method and BORSOG trading. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back KS family. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently trading at 0.42% up at 23,954. Ethereum is up 1.42% to 1878. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth in the process. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the links to the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass, and also the scholarship is in there as well, a partial scholarship. The taxation software I use, it's really important to track your trades, and you can always directly message me on Twitter at any time. To mentally prepare ourselves for the immense volatility inside the crypto market, we have the CTKS Creed, which is a series of affirmations that you can say to yourself. I know the universe wants me to succeed. Every day I show kindness, integrity, and gratitude. I know opportunities in life reset daily. I am worthy. I go slow to go fast. I start small in scale with BORSOG. Life pullbacks give me the strength for the next life rally. I am dedicated and committed. I win or learn and never blame. Just a really interesting piece of news for you. BlackRock launches spot Bitcoin private trust for US clients. That's literally just today. BlackRock Inc. is the world's largest asset manager. It's launched a spot Bitcoin private trust for, wait for it, institutional clients. That's naughty. BlackRock has been making really significant moves into the crypto market. This is really positive for crypto. As crypto technical analysts, we scientifically track investor attention, which is measured by price, which is reality. First thing we do, we mark up our charts with the CTKS method. We check world events, collect probabilities, check the stock markets, so we get a positional view as to how the trends are moving, and then we hop back into the crypto market, finding the market's focus, understanding that opportunities reset daily, and enhancing pattern recognition. Before we buy or sell, we must apply Rule 734, which is master emotional control. If we don't master emotional control, we'll buy and sell at the wrong times. And there's so many ways to trigger the process of buying and selling. We always use three-dimensional decision making, and I call it BORSOG A&F. A&F, it stands for against, nowhere, and for. It's kind of like a traffic light. If you think about it, you control the trade or investment, but the market controls the return. We can't force the market to give us what we want. We have to be in alignment. And that's what literally borsogging is all about. We first initially think, what if this trade or investment goes against us? What do we do with the specific trade or with the entire portfolio? And if it goes flat, goes horizontal, goes nowhere, what do we do? And if it goes for us, what do we do? We need answers to all of these questions. This is three-dimensional decision making. The best way to see A&F actually in practice, what we're seeing here, for example, this is Bitcoin, and we've seen the current price. It was really rallying yesterday. And why was it rallying? Because supposedly the inflation print came in lower than expected. And everybody said, yay, fantastic, the Fed's going to have to pump money into the economy and we're saved, everything is great. And I'll show you some stuff that happened today, which tends to throw cold water on all of that. And I asked the community, our beloved global family, what do you expect? Do you think it's going to go higher or lower? And it was pretty mixed. But most of the community thought it would pull back. And that's exactly what it has done. It's still maintaining its upward support line. Things are relatively positive, but we could be in a nowhere phase at the moment. You see, we've gone up and then came back and gone up and then came back. We've got a slightly positive bias, but it's not overwhelmingly positive. So we can look at things and say, okay, if things go for us, we could go up to this level, which is about 13.63% above where we started to draw the A and F in. Or we could go up to 34. It could consolidate, go just horizontal. We could go down to this support line, or we could go down further. And it's always important to keep in mind all your stacking of probabilities. You want probabilistic fearlessness, but you want to stack those probabilities like a crypto detective. Thanks, Beardy. And you always need to put money into the market with the concept of BORSOG ANF. BORSOG is rule 621. Buy on red, sell on green. That's the BOR, buy on red. Sell on green is the SOG, which is sell on green. And the concept is you're getting on the right side of the percentage. You can be on the wrong side of the trade, but on the right side of the percentage, and you can make a lot of money. You can think about it this way. If you just manage to get 2% cumulative return on $100, just rolling it over each day, you would actually build your $100 up to $138,424. This is really interesting because crypto is so crazy volatile that kind of accumulation is possible, but it's only possible with trading. A lot of people think that it's really easy to BORSOG. It's not. You require knowledge and emotional control. You can see, you would think that anybody with a driver's license could park their car. All of these examples are drivers that have parked their car, but not very well. You'll learn all the foundations of how to BORSOG and much, much more inside the Masterclass. For Masterclass students, it's really important that you walk up the knowledge staircase very slowly because I've actually built each step relying on the past video. If you skip through videos, you're going to have holes in your knowledge. I'd like to congratulate Kevin, who just finished the Masterclass. He says, Ken's teaching styles break down the complexities of crypto trading well enough for even those with zero background in crypto to understand how to navigate through the wild jungle of the crypto space with confidence and professional proficiency. There are individual lessons alone in his masterclass that are worth the masterclass fee. On the same day I finished the masterclass, I executed my first trade and managed to achieve a 14% return on TRB in just 7 hours. Fantastic, Kevin. If you're still contemplating if this masterclass is worth it or not, this is your sign that it is. If I can do it, you can do it. Thank you, Ken, for providing us with the tools to not only become better human beings, but a financial blessing to ourselves and those we love. Thanks, Kevin. Really beautiful. And well done to everybody who's completed the masterclass as well. And Tanya said, for every academic person, it's obvious that the structure and material in your masterclass are equal to a high-level university degree. Your incredible talent to present complex topics in a very simple, systematic and understandable way is an extra bonus and blessings for your students. Thanks so much, Tanya. And this probably comes because I was a lecturer in first and second year statistics for many, many years. And if you would like to know why I actually started the masterclass, I've got a little video up there. It's all about transferring my 30 years of experience in financial markets to you. And for those interested in the masterclass but going through financial difficulties, please apply for the partial scholarship. I believe that it's very, very important to put some money down on the line because that's a level of your commitment, but I want to make it accessible for people who really want to do it. Let's have a look through the main markets. And why do we look here? Because of Rule 225, Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity. We have to contextualize what's happening with Bitcoin. But you might say, Ken, I don't care what happens with Bitcoin. I just want to go and look at my beloved alt. Your beloved alt depends on Bitcoin's gravity, and I'll prove it to you as we go through this particular video. And let's have a look what happened with the fear gauge. And Masterclass students, you get my live chart in TM6. We had a little bit of a kick up in fear. And what did that do to the market index, the NASDAQ 100? It pushed it down from resistance. And we've seen the same thing happen with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been pushed down. So what we actually notice here, this blue line, this is Bitcoin's gravitational pull. You can see it moving directionally in alignment, not the same magnitude, but the same direction. That's called directional correlation. And what do we notice with bond prices? They've started to go down. They've started to move away from their resistance level. They've been rejected. Price is making a downplay. And we know that bond prices and bond yields are inversely related to each other. As bond prices come down, the yields go up. I discuss this a lot inside the masterclass. And what do we notice about geopolitical risk as measured by the proxy of gold? Gold is starting to come down a little. That could actually signify an easing of tension between China, Taiwan, and the US and the allies on both sides. So what do we actually see? When we're inside the masterclass, we're looking at all of these factors because they all matter. And what did the DXY do? The US dollar currency index, it continued to sell off, but it's found a little bit of footing at the moment. And what about oil? Many people expected that oil would just go down and down and down. We've noticed that oil was strengthening. It lost its support level, came down, it's now strengthening again. It's over another level of resistance. Keep your eye on oil. I think it may actually catch a lot of people off guard. And when we look at junk bonds, which is a definite risk on indicator, they're still going up. You can see junk bonds, this yellow line, still going up, but it's wobbling around because we know Rule 4, price moves in waves. In yesterday's episode, we did a lot of analysis on the VIX. Please keep your eye on the VIX. It's going to be important. Let me know in the comments, what do you think the VIX will do? Do you think it's going to spike up or just continue down or just go flat? Please let me know. When it comes to the major US indices, we actually can see that the NASDAQ is coming up to a resistance line. It's actually rallied really well. You note that we've done our ANF in here. If prices go flat, they go nowhere. We would expect consolidation along this region. If they go negative, they go against us because we go long in our community. We don't use leverage because we don't need to. We buy at spot. Literally, what we're doing is putting out a bit of a game plan. If we come back to test this lower support, we could get a percentage reduction, and this is in the NASDAQ. Or we could get a lower percent reduction or a cataclysmic percent reduction, and we can go the other way as well. Price will reveal itself. That's the awesome part about ANF. This is a way to get out of that emotional roller coaster cycle. Retail investors and traders actually lose money in every single market because their emotion takes over. If you find yourself getting emotional, you're being stuck in this retail sector. You don't want to do that. You want to come across to smart money, and that's less than 5% of the population, the trade and investor across that bridge. They don't get caught up in optimism, euphoria, anxiety, denial, panic, capitulation, hope and thrill. They don't care about those things. They actually are unemotional. They put in the hard work and dedication and the patience. They've got a lot of rules. They look for the science. They're like detectives. And that's what we do each and every single day. I had a lot of really interesting comments. People were saying, oh, I think we're between hope and optimism for the retail mindset. Some thought we may be up to thrill. And the key here is that we as smart money, and you must define yourself as smart money, even though maybe you don't think you're there yet, just say, I am smart money. I'm going to be professional in zone 3 and zone 4. I'm not going into zone 1 and zone 2 because those zones are disastrous. And when we look at the markets and put our ANF regions on our charts, what we're basically doing is saying, okay, price, let price reveal itself to me. You can't control price, but you do control your reaction to it. In yesterday's video, I did a bit of analysis to try and help people understand the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, and CPI Core, and what the different measures actually measured statistically. I came across this really fantastic chart that I wanted to show you. You can see CPI Core in this gray area, and you can see food and energy, which are basically policymakers say that food and energy are really turbulent, so we'll just keep that out of the core measure. And you can notice when you get a decrease, that's deflation. When you get a positive increase, that's inflation. If you were curious about inflation and deflation, those particular terms. And core just excludes food and energy. And what we've seen since the C19 crisis is food and energy have become really expensive. But there was a stage when C19 was hitting when energy went way down, and some people will even remember oil prices going negative. What happened over the past trading session? The Producer Price Index, or the PPI, not the CPI, the PPI. And the PPI measures the change in price of goods sold by manufacturers. You can think about it as cost push inflation. If the PPI goes up, it means that the manufacturers are actually increasing prices, and that flows through to the CPI. Everything's connected. And what do we actually notice? We had a forecast or an estimate of 0.2%, and it came in at negative 0.5%. What fantastic news! It was awesome because we remember yesterday that the 50 basis point increase was stuck at a 58% percentage, and then it's gone to 61.5. Wow, fantastic. Yesterday the markets rallied, but hang on a sec. Well, the day before yesterday the markets rallied, but what about now? Stock rally fades as investors weigh next steps on inflation. You can see they can write a headline on just about anything. I think another headline, which is really interesting because it's something that we've actually been following, Xi Jinping, message to Biden on Taiwan, now is no time for a crisis. Okay, pretty interesting. You can see there's so much turbulence, so BORSOG is probably the only way to make money in these unique times. It's very likely a trader's market for the next 2 or maybe 3 years. Thanks, Lena. I wanted to point out something really specific, and Masterclass students, you get this live chart and a very deep explanation in LV19, but I wanted to add something new to it. You might notice this increase in the inverse VIX. That's what this red line is here. Notice when the inverse VIX comes down, what does it signify? Let me know in the comments. It's really important you do this active learning. It should be pretty obvious, but please let me know. What do you notice here when the inverse VIX is rising up? What happens in those cases? Now, this is a particular percentage angle or a degree, 67 degrees. We've seen about a 67-degree angle here, and that was followed by a quite steep sell-off. And then when we look back, there's not too many 67-degree angles. That was followed by a sell-off, a rise, and then another sell-off. So what do we actually anticipate with this, with the VIX? Do we think that the VIX is just going to keep on dropping and dropping and dropping? This is the inverse VIX, the opposite of that. Or do we think that the VIX will start to move in a wave? Remember, the VIX is very spiky. I've also put Taiwan's market index in. Let's turn now to China and Taiwan. This could be a big issue and it could rock financial markets, so we do need to pay attention to the economic consequences of war. Because if China goes to war with Taiwan, whatever the state of politics that exists, Taiwan is a major producer of semiconductor chips. In fact, Taiwan produces 92% of the world's most advanced chips. These chips are used in military weapons. Every product with electronics needs a semiconductor chip to work, and US firms such as Nvidia, Qualcomm, and Apple outsource almost all of their chip manufacturing to Taiwan. As we increasingly move towards a digitized economy, semiconductors and chips are the new oil, and this is something that we all need to pay attention to. Many countries fought over oil in the past. Now they will fight over semiconductors and chips. We can see the news can spin any kind of headline that they want, so we go behind the news and look towards the facts. What we actually see with Flight Radar, we can see the number of commercial flights across this particular part that could potentially turn into a war zone, and we certainly hope that will not be the case. But if it was the case, what could it look like? It could look like this. The war in Ukraine empties the skies above. We can see that the skies are not being emptied. And the Taiwan Straits are incredibly busy. If there was a war, these straits would be emptied of commercial cargo as well. That is not happening. Thank you very much to Oscar, who actually shared these links. These particular dots and kind of arrows are warships in the vicinity of the Taiwan Straits. You can see some amassing around Hong Kong and some amassing around Shanghai as well. But this is pretty normal stuff. If you actually look more broadly, you'll see a lot of warships around Europe at the moment. It's a really good resource, and if you have other resources that we could use to independently assess the news without any political bias or intention, I think that would be wonderful. Just reach out and let me know. Before we get into Bitcoin, we must understand how the major US indices are coming up to resistance and are being rejected by that resistance. It doesn't mean that we're going to drop down. We could just consolidate and go up. So we need to keep in mind our A&F strategy. But we can see the NASDAQ 100 was rejected at resistance. It tried to turn it into support and failed. It's coming down. The next key level will be that 13,230 level, and the next key level under that will be about 12,600. We can see with the S&P 500, we're about 3.6% away from the higher resistance line. The next major support line will activate at around 4190. We can see that the Dow Jones made a play to take out the resistance and failed. It's just currently a little under 1% away from resistance, but it's got double resistance here. It's got this wider resistance line, this one and this one, like this, and it's got an upward support line that it's not being supported very well. It's more like a resistance line. And what we notice with the Russell 2000, it's done really, really well. It's about 3% away, well, just maybe a little bit more, about a little over 3% away from its support line. So just in terms of this, it gives you a bit of a context. Potentially the S&P 500 is the one to watch, because the S&P 500 is a powerhouse. Rule 45, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity, just as Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity. And we've seen that play out, because as the NASDAQ actually rejected, so too did Bitcoin. Let's have a look at the longs and the shorts. The longs, this green line here, the longs are indicating that they're not really too confident about getting into the market. And the shorts are saying, oh, heck, yeah, we're into the market, but hang on a second, we're not so sure either. Let's check out liquidations. Across the past 24 hours, there's been 363.16 million in liquidations across 66,647 positions. In the past 24 hours, total liquidations, around 57% have been long. Just remember, the price is coming down. Over the past 12 hours, there was more, about 76% long. The past 4 hours, whoa, about 87% long. Oh, the poor old longs have been getting whacked by the shorts. What about the past hour? A little bit less, 85%. So when we actually look at total liquidations, you can see more longs than shorts have been liquidated. But the longs and the shorts are always getting liquidated by each other. They just have a lot of fun. Active learning is a really, really important thing for you to do. What do you think this actually means? We've had, for example, 200 million in long liquidations, 150 in short. What do you think this, and how do you think this will affect price? Please let me know in the comments. The global crypto market cap is currently 1.14 trillion, a decrease of 0.45% over the last day. The greatest gainers in the top 100, Anchor out in front, nearly 42% up. Go Anchor! Ethereum Classic nearly 8% up. XTC nearly 7% up. Celsius a little over 6%. Bitcoin Gold a little over 5%. And XEM a little over 3% up. The greatest losers over the past 24 hours, LDO leading up the back of the pack, down 8.21%. Rose down 6.5%. Convex Finance, CVX down 5.2%. XMR down about 5%, Gala down 4.75%, and Arweave about the same. We said that no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. Let's see if that's actually true. This is Bitcoin. You can see around June how it started to come down, and from the 8th or 7th down to the 19th, it just came down. What happened to Ethereum? Did that come down too? What about Binance Coin? Did that come down? What about, for example, with XRP? Did that come down? What about ADA, Cardano? Did that come down? Please let me know in the comments. It's really good to talk about this. What about Solana? Did that come down? Are you noticing any variations in any patterns? What about Doge? Did that come down? What about DOT? Did that come down? Doing active learning will actually open your eyes to little things you would otherwise miss. That's why I'm such a big believer in it. And when I taught first and second year statistics, I used the incredibly complex numbers of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to teach every statistical concept. Things don't need to be made complex because it's all about understanding. And I'm always trying to simplify very, very complex processes for you so that you can understand them. We know that before we buy or sell, we have to action Rule 774, master yourself to master the market. But how do we master ourselves? We have to get off the emotional roller coaster. And you might like to put in the comments what you found is the best thing that you can focus on in these boxes of positive excellence, because it really can matter to other people. You can help others through, and that's what our community is all about. So positive excellence is all about building character, building strong positive character, because that's the only thing that will support success. A lot of people build a negative character, one of high conflict, one of internal turbulence. That does not support success. When we're young, it's very easy to blame, but there's a problem. Blame prevents progress. It also destroys success. Instead, we understand that we either win or learn and never blame. That part of the CTKS creed is incredibly important for your success. If we look into the crypto space, integrity plays a very, very big role. Integrity and decency. I believe there's been a number of high-profile people who lacked integrity and decency, and they brought the crypto market down with their lack of character. What does this mean for you? If you're invested in a project but you have doubts about the integrity or decency of the founder, I would suggest you get out of there really, really fast. Or quickly is probably the more important word. And I thought today, talking about the destructive nature of blame could be a really, really good thing to do. For example, if you're in a trade and you blame yourself for not getting in soon enough, or not getting out soon enough, or getting out too late, all of those things will adversely affect your confidence. Talking about blame will be very, very helpful to people. There were so many fantastic comments in the comments section of yesterday's video, and we always get incredible comments each and every episode. There's so much wisdom in these comments. It would be really good if you have a look through. And I'd like to thank everybody that took the time and reached out and just sought to help others. That's what our community is all about. Of course, we put in the hard work. We believe that positive excellence and success is a thing that you earn. Let's have a look at some community favorites. Let's look at Elf. Ah, so cute, little Elf. Elf is very spiky. It's a spiky elf. But you can see just how much these alts obey Bitcoin's gravity. And if we look at Gifto, it's actually reaching a level of resistance. If Bitcoin can actually force through its own resistance, GTO should do quite well. Don't forget, I never endorse any specific crypto. You must do your own research and just do what works for you. Chainlink is showing a lot more strength than Bitcoin at the moment, but realize that Chainlink is obeying and is subjected to Bitcoin's gravity like they all are. And hang on a second, you say, but Ken, look at TWT, Trust Wallet. TWT bypassed Bitcoin's gravity. Oh, okay, now it's aligning with it. This is something that you need to keep your eye on. About 1% of the alts can move in the opposite direction. So if you get a big sell-off, they can move opposite to that sell-off. They can be incredibly valuable to look for. But eventually they will realign. What typically happens is they come down faster and further before they can almost herald what could happen in Bitcoin. So this is why you want to keep your eye open for these things. And what about TVK? We can see TVK has a little bit more strength than what GTO has, and it's coming up and up and up. So that looks pretty good, but we absolutely understand Bitcoin's gravity will play a huge bearing on all of these alts. That's why we spend so much time understanding the macro and understanding what Bitcoin is doing. And what about Theta? Theta is moving in alignment with Bitcoin's gravity, but it's suddenly become a little bit stronger. Notice the weak becomes strong over time. And you can see that with LDO. It was quite weak. It realigned and became strong. What about Phantom? It was weak and it's now realigning. It's becoming stronger. Does this mean that we just go all in and more? No, we never do that. Zone 1 and Zone 2 go all in and more. We don't do that. We never do that. That's so risky. And it disobeys Rule 4. Price moves in waves, and it disobeys so many other smart money rules. What we do instead is we scale in. We're not like a light switch going all in and all out. We scale in. We take time to figure out where the target is, and we just want to hit around the bullseye. So we're very, very selective with what we do. And we love to BORSOG, and there's a little Ken FT for that. In Zone 1 and Zone 2, we obey the lose money rules. We don't want that. Yes, we can get diamond hands, and that's very good, but you want a diamond mind and a diamond heart as well. To get those, we must move through Zone 1 and Zone 2 into Zone 3 and Zone 4. Please let me know what cryptos you would like in tomorrow's episode, and we'll go through those ones. Thank you for tuning in. I love sharing this time together. Please consider sharing and liking this video, and also subscribing to the channel. We would love to have you as a part of our globally extended KS family. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers, and to the CTKS ambassadors for assisting Masterclass students. And of course, a very big thank you to you for watching and for being part of our global family. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, and you might always notice that SPN is always 14.67% up. Naughty SPN, it's just not true. I very much recommend that you keep track of your trades and investments. I have the tax software I use, and if you actually go in there, you'll get a good discount on that as well. There are also links in the description of the video to the CTKS ambassadors. They can give you an 80% off voucher for the masterclass. And if you're going through financial hardship, there's also a link in the description for the CTKS Partial Scholarship. If you're new to the channel, a very big and warm welcome to you, and you might be wondering, what are we doing? Why are we looking through all these crypto sectors? We're actually hunting for BORSOG opportunities. We know inside the crypto market, even if the market goes blood red, there's always opportunities, and we're looking for those opportunities. And that's what I do at the end of every single video with you. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care, and see you next time. Bye for now.